So I got a set of 10 or 11 pictures here. We're just gonna go through them and see what we see. Right off the get-go, what do we see? The fact that this part of Africa was called Negro Land back in the day. Negro Land and Guinea, with European settlements. Let's see if we can zoom in a little. Not so well. Explaining what belongs to England, Holland, and Denmark. So according to these people who think they own some other continent, like there's nobody there, they got it divvied up between themselves. So there's Negro Land. You see right down here is the Slave Coast too. Right there, Slave Coast, Gold Coast, Grain Coast. And there's this really cool, I did a separate video on this, but there's this really cool, it looks like it's Marius Island here, this little lake island. It looks kind of dried up now, but in a different video I just kind of went over that and what it looks like nowadays. There's definitely no lake in Africa here. The other interesting thing on this picture is up at the top here we got P of Zahara, or the desert. So they call it the desert or P of Zahara, which I'm assuming is Plain of Zahara, but it's the Sahara Desert, and I'm assuming the names just got changed over time, so that's pretty cool there too. You can kind of see how things are spelled different, like the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic. Anyway, moving along. So these are crazy species. Probably my favorite up at the top, it says that this is a mermaid. And I went over this in a short before, but I just have to go over it again. I guess more of them than just a mermaid. But yeah, that is what they're saying a mermaid looks like. It looks like some sort of a fish slash person slash turtle slash I don't know what in the world's going on with it. What we got there at 3 is a fish with a sharp horn. You know, like a narwhal maybe or something. Except for that looks like a fish with a cat face maybe and some whiskers and then a crazy horn coming off it. Insane looking. Flying fish, we know about those. Seahorse, we know about those. Sea lion, look at that sea lion right there. I know it's not the greatest picture, but does it have like an extra set of fins in the back? Fins, or I'm assuming it's fins. They look like wings almost. You know, I can almost get behind it with like the body shape and stuff like that. Like, oh, sea lion, okay, they just drew it a little bit different. They weren't real familiar with it, but that's kind of crazy looking compared to what we're used to. And then we got a hippopotamus down here, the river horse. Oh, the sea cow. So they're calling it a river horse or a sea cow. And I think that's just what we call a hippopotamus. Which recently, seeing some videos of the hippopotamus, they're pretty mean animal. Let's just say they definitely defend their territory, right? Alright, this picture. We're only going to say so much about this picture here. Let's look at all the weird stuff like up at the top. The faces in the pillars are really strange, I think. You see that a lot, and I don't understand who that is exactly. The main part, I do believe, though, is going to be the picture of the bull, and we're just not going to say a whole lot about it. Here's a couple other weird things, though. In a lot of these pictures, these guys have these skirt, I don't know what you want to call it, skirts on, but they do this weird triangular energy beam thing out to here. I have no idea what that's about. Check that out, though. It's in some of the pictures, but not all of them. So I don't know what that's supposed to represent, but it is in a lot of them. And so is this face right here. Is on a lot of just trinkets that they have, basically. We're going to get to the bull here. And we're just going to mosey on down here and go, WTF is going on? I'm trying to make an educational channel here, people. And I don't see anything educational about this picture anymore. What is that guy doing right there? I was like, you know what? He's probably just collecting milk from a bull. What? Anyways, I think we all know what's going on there. I don't quite understand at all what WTF, guys? Why don't you... You know what? Don't even leave that one in the comments. Just leave it out there in the universe, because that's some crazy crap right there. Let's go to the next picture. But I just gotta point that out that, you know, a lot of these ones, especially that you see on TV, maybe they're not going to show something like that. But maybe they should, because there's really some disturbing things in these hieroglyphs. There's another one. Oh, it's got the same picture right here. And then what else we got? There's a bullhead. There's a pile of stuff. Maybe offerings. There's a, look at it. Maybe these are offerings. There's like a cow's leg right there. With some other stuff. There's like a goose there. Very interesting. But I mean, that's what it looks like in a lot of these pictures. They do offerings all the time. I know that some of the favorite ones, the most disgusting ones, were burnt animal entrails. Yuckers. You know, it's worse than hot dogs, y'all. Anyway, we're gonna move on past. They're like, we're gonna take this party on the road. Get them on the boat. They're sick. Just had to say it. Alright. View of Constantinople. Let's see what we got going on. We got some guys firing off some cannons over here. Not a big deal. And then these guys are just chilling here by the water. That is interesting. There's steps that go down into the water. Right there. Maybe that's their in and out. And it's just steps and nothing fancier than that. And maybe these guys just left in these boats. Look at those boats. That would be really cool to see one like that today. I've never seen one in real life. Look at the amazing... You know, everything's amazing. The ships are amazing. The buildings are amazing. You know what else is amazing? The trees are amazing too. They really, all the spires. It looks pretty cool, actually. It goes with the spires of the buildings in the background. The city wall is amazing. Even those little boats are pretty darn amazing. I gotta give it up. Hats off, y'all. What happened? Yeah, look at that building in the back there. It looks a little flooded. It does indeed. And let's move along. So that's Constantinople back in the day, in case you all were wondering. These are different types of people in this book of different types of people or anomalies. So these are conjoined people. We've seen that before. This person, I couldn't tell if that was hair or if it was just the black and white skin or brown and white skin. Looks like it on the legs and stuff. But on the back, I was like, I don't know. Unless she just has extra folds of skin or something. He, she. Anyways, that person also looks kind of shorter and more stocky too. I don't know if that has anything to do with what that... It doesn't say what these people are. And then down here, obviously, this is a albino cyclops. Duh. Looks like a child one too. The body stature and everything. Interesting. Leave some comments below if you guys know anything about that. Especially the Cyclops one. Albino Cyclops monk guy. There he is. It's what you've been waiting for. And we got giants. El Tartaro. I think this was like a play. Obviously, it's not coming in the greatest. Can't really read it. Giganti. What is that? Anuna? Anunia? Anunzia? So are they saying the giants or Anuna? Perhaps. Titani, Titan. I can't read it well enough. But it's a pretty darn cool picture. I do wonder what they're doing. That guy's got like a stone statue in his hand. And another one's like up on a rock up into the clouds. Really weird. Obviously the littler people down below are having a problem with the giants is what it looks like. And the giants are just kind of hanging out. Naked. Maybe that's what the villagers are upset about. Yeah, this is a neat one here. I love how these buildings are carved, or whatever happened, you know? Did part of the building just melt and then part of it didn't? That kind of doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like it was carved in some way out of the hill itself. So let's take a look-see-poo. But if somebody has an explanation for that, I'm all ears. Cheers. Look at this. You can see the old... There. Look at it. See, and that's kind of where they got me. You know, what was up? This new, beautiful-looking part, new, I don't know how new, but, you know, the newer, and then it looks like it's older right here. They obviously have some windows going around in the circle. Was this something that did get melted a long time ago? And then they just reuse, and this is the new front that they put on. You can see some steps here. There's some steps going over here. And I gotta say, this is cleaned out, because you'd imagine this part down here being filled up at least level with this right here, you know, so it'd be yay tall, perhaps. Would have been buried. Anyway, these over here too were pretty interesting. Are these like little storage containers over here? These circular, I'm assuming it's like a jar with a top. If it's something other than that, I don't know what. If somebody does know what, leave it in the comments below. What's this over here? Let's take a look-see-poo. A giant old-school concrete piano! Eureka! I don't think it's a piano. We're gonna move on. What do these guys have? That guy's got a gun. You don't see that a lot. Nice. Moving along. This is amazing and ornate. And my number one thing to point out here is that I'm uneducated exactly on what goes on in these types of places as far as the ceremonies and all that. So if I say anything that offends anybody, oh, so sorry! But check it out. These look like giant chairs. I know this guy's like praying into one. And maybe that's what you do with them. And like I said, I don't know. But they're giant chairs, man. And that's what they are. What if a giant person... Everything here is giant in these old buildings like this. Everything's giant. Why would these little people have all this giant stuff? Makes no sense at all. Why would they have these giant chairs? Did they take the giant chairs and say, you know what, those aren't giant chairs, those are prayer booths. Prayer booths. Come on in, everybody. Grab a booth, but don't sit down. Yeah, let's take a look around. It's a pretty good picture. Look at these giant candle holders. There's something right there. Why would you want a giant candle holder taller than you are? So somebody's got to what? Bring a ladder in to light all this different stuff. The lights up there. Look at all the lights. It would be crazy. It would be absolutely insane. That job alone. Like, where'd you get a job there, Jeff? Well, I got one at my local church. I'm a lamplighter. That takes up my morning, noon, and night. And I'll tell you what. There's nothing I enjoy more than firing up those giant candlesticks there. Okay. Anyway, they always had to have some sort of a living animal supporting it too. Have you ever noticed that? Whoever made this stuff originally, not these guys, were friggin' jerks, man. It's like they didn't care about life as much. And that's interesting in itself. It leaves a lot to be explored. Whoever came up with this idea is amazing. Like, simple yet freaking amazing. The circle, the wheel, who would have thought of it? But let's take the wheel, flip it on its side, and make it out of, into a railroad terminal. And you get what's going on here. You can store all these different trains down a different slice of track. You can throw one on there and shoot them into one of these tunnels, whichever way it's got to go. It's amazing. I love it. That's a beautiful picture. Beautiful terminal. Beautiful old trains. If you guys know a lot about trains, drop some information below. I'm all ears. I love it. If you guys have any information on any of this, drop it below. I'm all ears. So this was super interesting to me because here you have a shipwreck on shore. Oh, a shipwreck on shore, and then a ship that looks quite similar to it right next to it, not shipwrecked. And back there you got more shipwreck. So the question is, what the heck we got going on here, people? This little boat, it's doing good. It's got little boards. Look at all these little boards, probably from the ship, all over. They used some of the boards from the ship to get to their little ship. They made a little dock. Good for them, I guess. But I would assume that maybe this place got flooded out. And maybe this ship came inland and crashed. But yeah, it's just crazy. Everything's destroyed on shore. And then this guy's just sitting out here doing pretty good. Awesome picture of these giant ferries, though. I love it. Not to mention what companies we got going on here. May Stern & Co. Fifth and Elm, furniture, carpets, stoves, and pianos. And they got Pears. What does that say? Carpet, fuel, furniture maybe? All those places back in the day seem to do everything. Let's see. Yep, I think this is the last picture, guys. So, does anybody know what this is? I have a guess, but it's really messing with me because, oops, the front of it's hooked up to all these chains right here and something's pulling it. I thought that it would have been mobile itself. I guess it's not, but then again, I don't know that much about them. I think it's a, like it's got a badge up there on the steam tower. Steam pipe. I think it's a steam-driven fire extinguisher, or fire hose, fire pump. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not saying that is what it is. I'm saying that's what I think it is. And I'm rather uneducated on old technology because I'm not 1,000 years old. Okay, guys? The kids might say that, but my goodness. They couldn't be more from the truth, further from the truth. Anyways, just like whoever thought about everything about this is ornate. The little chains on down to this little harness in the front to the wheels. Just everything's so beautiful and well made. I mean, it's too bad we don't make them like we used to. I mean, that saying came from somewhere and it really rings true. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. I love y'all, and stay tuned for another Northern Michigan adventure!